Hello, welcome. Bradley ATG here, coming at you with another match. This time, rbarnson versus Chronopolize. Chronopolize up at the top, PHC. rbarnson down at the bottom, also, no, pardon me, not PHC, Substrate. Taking a quick start here, we'll look at the start. Um, Chronopolize starts building an engineer immediately off the bat, while the first engineer comes and captures the metal point here. Instead, and then builds metal points. The engineer built, comes out, builds one metal, and then comes out and builds a factory. Interesting start. As we can see now, Chronopolize has one factory off on the right of the map and then another factory off on the left, and we'll use those two factories to push out units to capture the left and right hand side there. Three engineers up in total, and as we can see, as the units push out, the engineers push out as well to start capturing the metal income or the radioactive points as map expands quickly here. So we can see Chronopolize up to a very quick start, gaining early map control, expanding faster than rbarnson as the substrate player below. Which is kind of interesting to see. Normally you see the substrate player expand quicker. Also interesting, rbarnson pushing out with his engineers pretty quickly here and building metal extractors and receiver points quickly. So as you can see, as they near closer the center of the map, I will slow down the map here as the initial conflicts start to occur. On the right-hand side, we see rbarnson scoping, seeing that Chronopolize is dropping an armory on the right-hand side of the map and has a sizable group of T1 units, but will not be a match for Chronopolize's rbarnson's match of martyrs here, which interestingly, he decides to pull back instead of engaging here. I think he could have taken that engagement. Oh, deciding, not sure what to do, pulls back, doesn't pull back, and his Chronopolize making an interesting choice, and instead of challenging, oh, changes the direction of units. I thought he was going to go for the center, ignoring this point, but changes his mind, decides to capture that point. Chronopolize also has the Hades bombers up and will begin to harass the units here. So lots of units here, but he does have a T2 assembly up here with an constructor rushing production of a drone hive. The drone hive does have anti-air capability, so we'll take care of those Hades bombers. Looking also on the left, Chronopolize making a push here, but on the left side of the map, we see rbarnson does not have the same response with no assembly up on this side of the map. So rbarnson will be able to control, will lose control of the left-hand side of the map. As we can see, rbarnson was able to push back that initial push and then is now sending the drone hive tentatively out, looks like to scope to see what's going on to capture the radioactive income there. Taking a quick look at income, rbarnson with 31 metal income, 12 radioactive, to 40 and 14, so a little bit behind, but not too seriously. And we can see Chronopolize is making good use of the harassing with the Hades bombers, but with the AA up, that will be nullified. And again, using the Hades bombers to really try and pick off the economy here and harass. Again, those won't be game ending for rbarnson, but will definitely put a dent and slow down his economy. And we can see this initial engagement here. That rbarnson will pull out ahead. That was a close battle, though. The Tier 2 unit was doing a great job of minimizing the impact of those T1 units and taking them out. rbarnson just continuing to rain down, taking a hit to rbarnson's economy. Interesting, not a lot of action here. rbarnson does, oh, Chronopolize has some units here, not exactly sure what he's going to do with them. Pulling those T1 units up to capture, it looks like. Yes, he'll push to capture there. Not exactly sure what that engineer is doing. Oh, and here, it looks like rbarnson got up a Avery and is rushing production as quickly as he can of air rampagers, but Chronopolize is ready. It has a Fury Armory here ready to go. And we can see Chronopolize with a huge economic boon here, +5, +1. So needs to increase his production to make sure he's utilizing his economy to the full. Interesting, both players have completely ignored the Terranium generators here. ignoring the potential 10% bonus to their economy, and idle units sitting around. Interesting. This assembly now sits empty. Looks like Chronopolize pausing or canceling construction there to focus on pumping out the Avery here. Interesting as with that first Avery push, R. Berenson knows that at this point that Chronopolize does have Furies up and will be able to counter air. So not exactly sure what the thinking is here, and continuing on pushing out the air ray pangers. With Chronopolize already demonstrating he's got strong Fury production up. So as we can see, Chronopolize with his ground units here is able to push. Now Chronopolize does not have embedded Apollos within his army, so they would be vulnerable without Fury cover to an Air Raid Panger push. But as we can see on both sides of the map, he's got a couple Hades here, some T2s, and additional Furies continuing to push out. Again, probing and pushing farther and farther into R. Berenson's base here with this T2 clumping here. And Chronopolize is able to pick up the Terranium generator on the left, which is going to give him a further economic boost. So Chronopolize, knowing that their earlier was their air raid panager push here, has built quite a army here of Furies and is using those to scope out the map and see what defensively Chronopolize has waiting. Chronopolize really smart here, scouting out, tentatively probing, not really getting overextended, and R. Berenson doubling down and continuing to push out air rampagers. Yeah, those are air rampagers. So those are really strong units, air units. But if R. Berenson is let's see what he's able to use these for. I'm not exactly sure. As we can see, coming out, taking out the defenses around this Terranium generator. This is really his last hope with these units here. Our Chronopolize with a significant T2 units here. I think he saw those air rampagers, pulled off his Furies and brought them around the map this way to avoid any potential AA defenses. Interesting. He's not his only bet. So he's got Sky Cleansers paired with the Air Rampagers. So he knows that this Fury push is coming. He's keeping his Air Rampagers under the cover of the Sky Cleansers and then his AA, so the blue Sky Blossom Launcher here. So he's dropping those Air Rampagers. So it's just not going to be enough. The Furies are able to take out the last Rampager. I'm sure Chronopolize is not sad about losing those. Interesting, he's got these big clumpy units here. Could capture that unit to extend his economy lead, but at this point, he's in a very strong position. We look at the military counter economic, 14K to 240. rbarnson doesn't have a lot of units. Is responding to losing the air rampagers by building more air rampagers. I think Chronopolize is in a very strong position at this point, taking his T2 units, making a push into the map here on the right-hand side of the right-hand side. On the left, recapturing that Terranium generator with a good unit formation here, able to push in. Now with still no Apollos embedded in the army, but with Furies there, and I think R. Berenson knows it's only a matter of time at this point, so he GG's out. Taking a look at the map here, the economy graphs, we can see again, Chronopolize just way ahead in the economic performance there and able to outspend R. Berenson. Really great match. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any comments down below.